Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. I'm really delighted to be joined by Sam, who is from CPOMS. Welcome, Sam.
Hi, Lucy. Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure. And I just wanted to start by saying a big thank you to you, Sam, because last time you came on to chat to us, and especially our community, you were so helpful. Not only did you give us loads of information, but you also answered loads of questions both during the event and afterwards. So a big thank you to you, because it
Not
was really
a
nice to
problem.
have your expertise to help us out. And today you're going to do something slightly different. You're going to show us the CPOMS platform and all it has to offer schools. So if you're new to CPOMS, or if you've already got CPOMS but you're not sure you're using all of the features, this is a really great opportunity for you to tune in and to find out all about CPOMS and what they can offer. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Not a problem at all. It's great to work with people like yourselves who connect with the users and, maybe hear different stories and have different things crop up from the users when they maybe don't make direct contact with us. So whatever we can do to help, we always will. I know, having worked in schools myself, you only get a finite amount of time to deal with things and they slip your mind and they move on. So sometimes you want your
Yeah.
question answering within that week, you know, not later down the line. So whatever we can do, we will do. Just keep us posted if any users, if anyone out there wants us, the contact details at the end of the presentation. So do get in touch.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Sam. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Lucy, and I was a school leader for 18 years, and I myself have used CPOMS, and that's why CPOMS work with us, because I absolutely love everything they do. I found it a really useful platform to record all of my pupil information in terms of send, safeguarding, not just safeguarding, but send as well, and also general parent communication, emails, etc., would all go into one platform. It was very easy to use. I could print all of my reports out. So that's why CPOMS are one of our partners, because it's a great tool to use, and that's why we recommend them. So I'm going to let Sam show us CPOMS, and I shall leave you be. And any questions, please do let us know. We love a question, don't we, Sam? And
We do, we
please do
do,
let
Lucy.
us know. Yeah, let us know and we'll do our best to help. Thanks, everyone. See you in a bit, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is a great opportunity just to, as Lucy said, learn a little bit more about the CPOMS ecosystem as a whole. I'm going to try and go through a number of products at pace, I realise, because I don't want to keep you all day, but this is kind of a taster of how we're positioning ourselves, how we feel like we support the wider community, as well as people who utilise our products, and kind of seeing the scope of what we've got to offer as part of the wider CPOMS ecosystem. There'll be some people on this call who are new to CPOMS, this year. There'll be people who've been with us since the beginning, and I think for everyone in between those windows, there is an opportunity to learn a little bit more about a new product or the things that we do. But if we start off with our kind of positioning, where we sit, and at the beginning of this whole journey of what CPOMS is all about, I'm going to try and go through some of these slides with you. We've essentially set the standard for safeguarding, we believe, in schools of all sizes across the UK, and we've got some incredible statistics about how much we've grown over time and the number of customers on our books across the globe, and the number of schools within England that really resonates with the fact that we have a huge safeguarding audience, and it's because of that, it's our duty to try and move forward and be kind of thought leaders in this space, not just software providers. And we like to do things like these webinars and put things out in our own platform through the webinar system and through our emails and communications that help people understand more about safeguarding and support them on that safeguarding journey. Not just the use of the CPOMS product and the products within that product suite, but also how to make the most of what can be a very difficult role, working in safeguarding in schools, pastoral and wellbeing, not discounting, and managing and understanding some of those expectations of the role, understanding how those policies, procedures apply. I think it becomes a duty of organisations of our size to contribute to that and support effective policy making, policy application, and potentially even supporting people to effect far better change within their systems, and hopefully using our products to do so. What we found certainly is that safeguarding students is always better when a school puts the student at the centre of that process. And what I mean by that is, when we're seeing an escalation of the different concerns over time from, even pre-COVID, we had changes in different processes and procedures, but certainly COVID highlighted some of the disconnects between schools and students within safeguarding processes, and how attendance and physical appearance at the school matters so much, and how we had to quickly adapt to those changes. Certainly, I was working in education at the time, working with 2 schools in leadership positions to support through COVID at the time, and it was a difficult period. And what CPOMS have taken over their time within the education space is an understanding that student safeguarding is a foundation of good outcomes and good student progress and learning. There are a number of things that affect safeguarding that erode the rest of those core outputs, whether it's SEMH concerns, whether it's knife crime, whether it's exploitation, bullying, neglect, attendance issues. They all take a chip away at that student safeguarding foundation, and ultimately it impacts those outcomes, and it causes some students to slip through that net. And that's where we're trying to put features and product updates and advancements in our product ecosystem to try and support that entire setup from foundation all the way through to outcomes. We know that some of these kind of outcomes can be hit with poor attendance. It could be an increase in referrals. It could even be an increase in the severity of those referrals that are going in. So we hear a lot of talk about thresholds increasing across social care systems and other third-party agents who are supporting students, and that staff burnout is increasing across organisations. And we're trying to make it our mission to support all these areas and support people in improving outcomes, reducing workload, and making smarter process choices using some of our software. Looking at some of the statistics then, certainly the DfE safeguarding report in 23 showed that there was an 89% increase in safeguarding referrals since 2020, a huge amount over 5 years. 2/3 of schools are reporting increased complexity in those safeguarding cases, according to the teacher wellbeing survey, which means not only are we having more issues, but we're getting an increased complexity within those issues as well. So they're harder to manage, take longer to have successful outcomes, and sometimes maybe even affects the number of successful outcomes that can happen. A 73% increase in serious behaviour issues was the an NHS survey in 2022. So coupling serious behaviour issues with ongoing safeguarding concerns in a school, that creates not only a safeguarding concern, but also a physical concern sometimes in that setting, depending on what those serious behaviour issues are. And 9 out of 10 teachers report workload is impacting their mental health, and that was a 2023 teacher wellbeing survey again. So teachers hitting burnout, behaviour issues increasing in schools, complexity of concerns being raised, and the number of concerns in general being raised makes for quite a big melting pot. And like I say, we're attempting to help solve and support some of these issues with our software, our products, and our features. We know to broaden safeguarding, to better protect our students is key to help students thrive. We want to help staff help students to reach potential and make sure that we're not having students slipping through the net. Really, really easy thing to say, tough thing to do. The way we're approaching it is through universal safeguarding as an approach. We're trying to define standards for protecting students from a software side. We know keeping children safe in education and other major policies that we utilise day to day do that work from a policy perspective. What we're trying to do is adopt a high level of standard for how we protect students and how we protect young people through the software processes that we create. So we bring together a full range of safeguarding capabilities, which I'm going to go through today. We talk about students, we talk about staff, we're managing visitors, we're talking about how we deal with emergencies and how we manage multi-agency group communication. Schools that take on the universal safeguarding approach, we can see, following this sort of criteria, have that success that we're looking to measure and that we're looking to continue to create across the UK and beyond. So schools that are setting that new standard have leaders that take the lead. They build strong, proactive, prevent first strategies, and they focus on that early intervention. We know that time and time again from how we see reports, reviews, and how we talk about things in policies, procedures. We've got a early intervention, family first sort of approach to things, student-centered approach, and that is the heart of what we do. Good practice involves expanding that safeguarding reach. So it's not just about the student and the staff members in your setting, it's also about the people that come to visit and the people in multi-agency areas that affect change and support that young people in that team around the child. Data is key to the work that we do. We can't avoid the fact that good data analysis helps to provide better outcomes. We need to know what's going on both at a macro level and at a micro level. It's all right knowing all of the incidents that are going on in your setting, but you also need to know how to take that step back and analyze data to see patterns and trends, things that are going on in your organization. And that can be tough to do when there's a lot of data, and I appreciate that because our system is incredibly well used and it has a variety of possible options of how to set it up, and it can be used for pretty much anything in your setting. So that involves creating a lot of data at the other side of it. So how do we connect those dots and how do we look at that data holistically? And I'll talk to you through that in a minute with one of our products. What we're looking to create is a holistic picture of the student. And what I mean by that is if we consider contextual safeguarding as an approach, we don't just care about that student between the hours of 9 and 3. We want to know what's going on for that student in other areas of their life. We don't just care about them physically in front of us in the classroom. We care about their online identity and their presence in social media, what they are, what that student's identity is to their friends, what their identity is to their parents, what their identity is to those other agents and clubs that they work with outside of school. And how can we join all that together in a holistic picture so that we really understand what's going on for that young person. We're not jumping to conclusions with ill-formed impressions of what we know about that young person. And clearly, compliance is a major factor, particularly over here in the UK. We've got a lot of legislation dictating how we should be compliant, whether it's GDPR or other policies and procedures that I won't get into today. But we have to be mindful from a software perspective how we build in to fulfill that compliance. And we also have to be mindful of the user journey in our software of how they can manage compliance at the user level. Universal safeguarding, we know, approaching it this way, achieves better academic outcomes. It helps us stay compliant and reduce that institutional risk. It improves attendance and retention. It invokes greater parental trust and community support because we're involving everyone in that conversation. It improves staff confidence and effectiveness because they can see processes and procedures in place that support them and that helps them feel supported. And it improves that student behaviour and engagement, which we're doing more and more for them and with them. And it really flies the flag for earlier interventions and that onward reduction of crisis times. The earlier we can get into support, we're hopeful that the less difficult it is at the other side, that we can catch things and nip it in the bud, as they say, to make sure that we're not hitting things just at crisis every time. Not to say that that's not something that we have to do sometimes. Clearly, there's time for crisis management. And we lean on the software, the systems and the processes we've got in place to manage that crisis well. And that's something that we try and support people to do through our CPOMS ecosystem. So setting this new standard involves the contextual understanding of that young person. So you can see here, the student-centered safeguarding approach is key. We think about staff, we think about school safety, student safeguarding, and that emergency response situation. And then wrapping around that is that shared data and analytics approach where we can manage to inform our choices and our resources and the things that we do at a higher level to move our school, our multi-academy trust, our organisation into a better place down the line. So here's a few things why people love us. It's always, as a Yorkshireman, I always find it difficult to talk about ourselves in a really positive sort of way. It's like not in my blood to be complimentary, but I'll try and go for it. There's a few things here in terms of us setting a new standard. The expansion of the work that our products are doing, meaning that you can expand those parameters of safeguarding to beyond just the child in that classroom. The ability for us to provide a broader safeguarding picture and keep up with those statutory changes. The entire universal safeguarding approach that we're taking forward that I'm going to show you through our products now. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. That's why people love us and that's why I hope that you do too. We've got a bunch of leading multi-academy trusts and schools on the journey with us. There's just a few there. Feel free to get in contact with us if you want to have any conversations about some of the stuff that have come up today, but I'm going to delve into some product stuff now if that's all right. So Student Safe is our flagship product. This is the one that CPOMS Student Safe is the one that you will all have heard of. Now, as part of Student Safe, the work that we do to try and improve the processes came in about a year ago around premium cases and forms. This is our case management solution that's attached to Student Safe as part of that invoice. So the way it works then is we have the ability within our Student Safe platform to build chronologies. Lucy was just talking about how she utilized it when she was in schools. It's the exact same way I utilized it, creating a valid and expansive picture of that young person to make sure that we can make the right decisions at the right time for that child and family. Support them in communications, bring them into those early help meetings and really get their views on things. Because of that, the chronology can sometimes become overwhelming. There's plenty of filters in the system. There's plenty of ways to view your chronology in a different way. So you don't have to have that overwhelm if you've got full access. But certainly when it comes to case management, when you're managing an issue, sometimes you really want to just focus on the issue at hand. And the way cases and forms works is it allows you to cherry pick the issues within your incident chronology and pull them into a case. So you can see here, incident notes have been withdrawn, incident notes have been a victim of bullying, and incident notes of this young person skipping class have been pulled out of the chronology into a child and child abuse case. The way that works in the system is that you would escalate those incidents into a case to work on it. When you're in the incident chronology here, you can see the incident on Wednesday the 16th of October. You go to those options and you can escalate that incident into a case. When you escalate it, you select the case type here. This case type has been created in your system by you. You can name them whatever you want. You can have the outcomes and severities of those cases set up however you like. And it has the option of creating custom forms within there, which I'll walk you through in a second. Choose the case type that you want to go to, and that incident then gets pulled into a case summary. You can see it's got a case number 81. That case summary is there for you to work on just those incidents that relate to that case. You can head back into the chronology and you can pick up an incident anywhere in CPOMS in your system and link it to that case. It doesn't necessarily have to be an incident for that young person if you're dealing with multiple students as part of the case. Linking those incidents in allows you to build a solid picture of understanding in order of things that are going on for that young person. So now when you go back to case 81, you're focusing on the things that you're investigating for child on child abuse and nothing else. Heading into the edit case section, you can assign those cases to people in your organization. You can create case statuses so that you can see the movement of that case over time, and you can attribute severities to that case so that you can see a differentiator of the level of need if needs be. It also allows you to create forms in the system. Those forms are there for your processing purposes. So if on a child abuse case, you have a specific student voice form that you want to fill in every time, you can create that electronically in our system and assign that to someone in your organization to fill in, along with the description up here, which you can see, and selecting the form there. You can even set deadlines, and that deadline applies down the line into a task management dashboard. So as a DSL or senior leader, I can see tasks that are due, tasks that are out of date, and chase those people up for that piece of work. It'll also send reminders to you via email to say that that task is coming in and it needs to get done. This is the electronic version of the child on child investigation form that I've created. Created this by a very simple forms element that's within our cases module, and it allows you to select certain question types and type in some of those prompts that you need. You can submit that form or you can save it to come back to later. When you submit it, that's kind of indication that your task is done. You can move on. You can see I've filled it in here. Once that's submitted, it becomes read only. So that becomes a piece of evidence in your chronology for you to work with. This is the cases reporting tool. So when you go into your dashboard and you click on case reports, you will see all of the cases open in your organization over a period of time. You'll be able to go into each one of those by clicking the open case if you've got permission, and you can see the demographic breakdown of the young people involved in that case. So this is a really good way of seeing open, closed, and other statuses within that organization. This one is a snippet of the task management dashboard. So when you're in there, much like the case tool here, you'll see a list of tasks, and you can see here that this was overdue when it was complete. So this has flagged up that that case was overdue. I know who it was assigned to, and I know what case it was and what school if I'm a multi-tenant trust. I can also see when that was opened and what case type it is and who the task is related to. So this allows me to keep track of bigger things across my organization. With premium cases and forms, you get this beautiful set of graphics on your dashboard, which is a number. Every time you open a new case type, you get this graph appear on your dashboard, again with permissions, so that you can see an overview of the cases that year in your school. This will based on the case status and severity, and you can hide them on your dashboard so that you can just see your alerts. And what it will do is it will keep those updates. It will keep those updates available. It means it won't flash up those graphs every time. So, very brief overview of case and forms, I realise, but if you want any more information, do get in touch. Contact details at the very end. CPOMS Engage then is an add-on to Student Safe that's available for people who want to simplify the sharing of sensitive pupil chronologies across settings. So use cases for this, if you want to stay connected with pupils for real-time alerts, if they're dual registered, maybe they're an alternative provision, you can set up a share contract between you and the alternative provision, providing they're a CPOMS user. That share contract means they can add things to their CPOMS chronology and you will see it as part of that share contract, and it works both ways. Perfect to remove the communication delays and the administrative workload that comes along with end-of-day handovers or end-of-week handovers and things like this. The good thing about CPOMS Engage is it allows you to stay in the moment with those people, and certainly from my experience of working with alternative provisions, sometimes I've needed to change my in-school provision for a young person in the afternoon because of their morning session and how it went. By adding things on to the chronology, I can see those updates straight away and be alerted to it. It means that I don't have to ensure that I'm available for a phone call, or I don't have to expect them to try and remember to ring me before they come. I can see those updates coming in. It also means it's that little bit easier to share information in general, and it keeps it secure. Super powerful piece of kit if you're working in a multi-academy trust setting with multiple schools and kids who share, maybe dual registered. If you've got an alternative provision in your area that are a CPOMS client, I would encourage you to look at Engage rather than having copious amounts of notes handed over to you via phone or on email. And it's a super powerful collaboration tool. So again, get in contact if you want to know more information. So this is how we're starting to bring in those intra-agency communications and make them more streamlined. When we talk about that contextual safeguarding, now you've got a young person who's on a child protection plan or managing some high level of need in your organisation. Suddenly on the chronology, you're getting a feed in from that alternative provision as well, giving you a more rounded approach and understanding. Staff Safe is our low-level concern, compliance and record welfare information system. So it's an SCR, and it's also got a low-level concern and concern management element for staff. The purpose of this then is to provide a really simple and efficient way for schools to carry out those SCR checks. It allows you to tailor that checks to everything that you need in your setting, and it allows you to record and track training and things like that across your organisation. It comes with these managed staff compliance and asset compliance wheels, so you can see how compliant your organisation is against those checks. What that'll do is it'll search the checks that aren't complete, and it'll tell them up in a percentage, and it'll tell you, so you can click into that then and have a look at the outstanding checks that need doing. The low-level concern element of this work means that you can log individual low-level concerns and whistleblowing events against a staff chronology on here so that you can manage it. Secure in the fact that when you log in, you can't see your own concern database, but obviously people with the right permissions can. Really useful for encouraging that kind of whistleblowing culture in schools, because you don't need any sort of login access beyond just a login password to be able to get to a concern login element of this. Anyone with just very limited access and no access to the rest of the compliance database can log in to Staff Safe, and it'll take them straight to the concern login form and they can fill it in. So everyone can be given login details without offering up any compliance information or any sensitive data in order to use it as a whistleblowing event capture. So a little bit of a pivot then. We've talked about staff, we talked about the student, and we've talked about how we're engaging some agencies who are working with that student. Now I want to talk to you about people who are turning up to your site to see students and how you manage visitors. CPOMS have stepped into the world of visitor management. Visitor Safe, due for release in the new academic year, is the UK's first visitor management system built for safeguarding, and with safeguarding at the heart of what it does. We're calling it a safeguarding first visitor management solution. I'm hoping I can sell you that over the next minute or so. It's giving a school a secure, connected way to manage visitors while linking that relevant activity directly to student safeguarding records. What do I mean by that then? Well, we have a series of outdated systems at the moment not connected into student safeguarding. In a survey that we conducted in summer, we found that 60% of respondents wanted a more effective visitor management solution, that 60% of respondents can't effectively link visitors to safeguarding records. 30% of those respondents have experienced incidents involving visitors, and 15% lacked a formal process for managing banned visitors on the premises. Visitor systems are historically disconnected from the safeguarding processes. They're inconsistent, they're easy to bypass sometimes, and they offer no real safeguarding oversight. It's often a site management tool. We don't connect these up to those student records. We rely on people processing that information or remembering that visitors came up, and often as a DSL I was going back to the visitor logs to check whether people turned up or not. So patterns, opportunities to confirm that support's been in place or to confirm that it hasn't, and build a complete chronology are missed. And with the increasing workloads and the increasing pressures in schools, we don't want to be missing safeguarding moments. Time spent chasing up visitors takes attention from those pupils and the work that we're doing with those pupils. So our answer to that is our visitor safe system. Our visitor safe system works by taking the traditional visitor approach into account, working then with an integration that we're building as a unique selling point for CPOMS, where you can integrate that visitor solution into your student safe product. I'm going to walk you through that now. Badge printing, staff notifications, and real-time visibility come as part of that product in that product portal when you sign up to it. How it works is you will sign in via a kiosk. Hardware options are available. As you sign in, you will enter your information into the tablet. As part of that information flow, it will take your picture and it will send a notification into the email of the person that you're visiting. That visitee will get that email, and you can see on that email just here is a log visit into student safe button. As they click that log visit into student safe button, it will take them to a student safe page where they can sign in and they can get the visit mode will pop up. That visit form will allow them to apply that visit to certain students within their organisation and write a brief purpose for the meeting within it. The great thing about this is attributing that straight to the visit means that we can also create a visitor tab within your student overview profile. This allows you to see a list of visits across the academic year and see all the different things that are going on for that child. Really good for understanding whether professionals have met their visits and come to their visits on time, understanding how many meetings you're having with parents, recording the fact that meetings have taken place around that young person, tracking CIM meetings, CP meetings, things like that if they're happening on your premises. Again, the early help process, often not always audited, a great place to track the early help meetings within here as well. The intention then is to be able to escalate those visits. So from this visit log, by clicking the escalate into an incident on the chronology, if you need to write something up about it, if something significant happened that you need to note on the chronology, you can do that by escalating the visit. If not, you don't need to block up the chronology with those visits. You simply add the visit logs into the visit system via that method. And who's it for then? Well, any DSL safeguarding team who are wanting to build a more connected safeguarding ecosystem in their school, who want to join those dots between the visitors coming into the system and the safeguarding data that you're getting out of it. Anyone with frequent visitors who need secure and consistent protocols, anyone who's potentially replacing pen and paper systems and things that they don't need, and have a kind of a cumbersome system at the moment in their settings. Any leaders who want to reduce any manual administration, improve site visibility. And certainly trusts and multi-academy trust leaders who are looking to scale up. Ours is a multi-tenant capable product. As we roll out multi-tenancy across the academic year for our multi-academy trust, it allows you to jump on board and have a single source of software for your multi-tenant experience. If you're preparing for inspections, you want to show that you're forward thinking and you're joining things up, it's probably a great tool to think about. And again, if there's any further questions, the release for that is September. If there's any further questions that you want to talk about, please do get in contact at the end of the slide with our booking a demo, go on the website, ring the phone number, send an email. one of our team will be happy to talk you through in greater detail some of these products and some of these features. Last one I want to jump into then is CPOMS Insight. So we've talked about how we manage visitors, how we manage school staff, how we manage school students, how we even consider how we work with parents, and how we join the dots with our local authority kind of placement areas, and how we join the dots with the third parties with CPOMS via share contracts. What do we do now we've got all this data? We use CPOMS Insight. It's a data visualization tool for safeguarding and wellbeing built for multi-academy trust and multi-agency settings, multi-tenancy settings, also applicable at a single school level if that's your bag. I'll talk you through it now. So, Insight is a Power BI fed dashboard. It allows you to utilize a series of visualizations that we've created to see your student safe incidents, your student safe case management stuff from premium casing forms, and your attendance in one easy to read set of visualizations. It's not a micro level analysis tool in that it doesn't go down to immediate student level data. You won't be able to identify a single pupil from it. It's more of a demographic level. But the idea is here, as a multi-tenant organization, you want to see a picture of data from all of your schools. This is the place to do it. It's also, in the next few weeks, going to have a data extraction point available in here. So as a multi-academy trust, if you've got your own Power BI work that you're doing across settings, then you can take our data extraction, which will be student level data, pull that out into your organizational Power BI source, data lake, wherever it is, and really go to town on that data analysis from the CPOM side of things. With it being student level, you'll be able to do that cross-product analysis if you've got MAS data and behaviour system data, first aid data, whatever it is. CPOM's biggest venture really into that data sharing area and allowing people access to data at such a high level. Insight, phenomenal tool for out-of-the-box analysis. It allows you to get to data really quickly and make some of those analysis meetings go that little bit quicker. The Power BI element of this work allows for interactivity across the board. So as you click into each feature, you click into each visual, it will render and the data relationships will come into play. So each graphic will move based on the things that you click on. I would encourage anyone to go onto the CPOMS website, have a look at our Insight webinar and really, have a look at how that works as a product overview and book a demo. Have a look at it in person, how that's working with our demo environments and see how that can apply to you. Super powerful data tool, and I'm confident is going to cut hours and hours of data time where people are pulling manual reports from each CPOM system at the moment. So check it out if you get a chance. Finally then, one of the big things that we want to talk about is the fact that we're trying to push more enterprise level connections, because what we are aiming to do over the next few years is significantly reduce data silos in safeguarding with integrations with great partners feeding in and out of CPOM Student Safe to try and make the most of that ability to connect rather than waiting for or stumbling up over what can often seem like invisible software barriers. One of the big ones that we've been talking about more recently is our key integration that we're setting up with the Access Group. So the Access Group work with Mosaic, their software Mosaic, which is a student case management solution often used by social care. Our aim of this integration is to allow Mosaic access to elements of the student chronology, give peace of mind to schools that information is being considered by social workers when it matters. So at the point of an active case, they can access that chronology and they can see the information that's in there that you've determined as a school you want them to see. Hopefully gone are the days when this takes off, that people are having to worry about where they are in the holidays, out of school hours when things are going on. If this is enabled in the system, it allows those people at a Mosaic level to take a look at the things that are going on from the school side and represent school views even in meetings where school haven't necessarily been invited. Flying the flag for schools and educators being part of that key safeguarding partner working together framework. So how's it going to work then? School authorises that information sharing with Mosaic is the plan. The school choose the categories that you'll be willing to share with your local Mosaic, and then when a case is opened in Mosaic, Mosaic matches to the records in CPOMS. That flag will trigger information sharing in Mosaic. So when that case is open, Mosaic users can see a version of this sanitized chronology that you've dictated a couple of steps before. Once the case is closed, the chronology view shuts down. So they can only see it for the right amount of time at the right time. But super powerful if you consider the amount of work people have to go through to send chronology of events over to social workers in preparation for decisions. That is a whistle-stop tour of our CPOMS ecosystem. I'm very, very aware that even if you rewound some of this, you won't take it all in. So if you've got any questions, you want a demo of any products, or you've got any great ideas that you want to share with me about how we can take these products further, I'd love to hear from you. The phone number's on the screen. You can email the sales team for any demos if you want to have a look at something. No pressure sales. It's just an ability to, people who are gifted at the walkthroughs to give you that walkthrough and show you what it does, and talk about quotes if you're interested. Or you can head into the CPOMS world of cpoms.co.uk and /CPOMS book a demo, scan the QR code and book a demo on any of our systems through our SDR team. Love to hear from you. If you ever want to just jump on a call and chat about stuff that is going on, I'm more than able to. So please don't be shy about getting in contact. But I'll let Lucy come in and close us off, and I'll stop sharing my screen. Cheers, Lucy. Thanks for that.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed
it. Everyone for half an hour, so hopefully people take something from it. It's not just me loving the sound of my own voice.
Yeah, no, it's really helpful, and it's nice to be able to have the time to think about these things and to really look at it and focus on it. And you guys can see why we love CPOMS. I mean, it's from my perspective, I think it makes it really efficient way of communicating with everyone, and that's the most important thing when it comes to everything to do with pupils in the schools, safeguarding or not. It's so important to be able to talk to people and get really important messages through. And so that's the main reason really why it's such a good platform. So you guys, if you want to have a look at CPOMS, please do head over to either their website or our website. You can see on our website we've got a summary of CPOMS and what we think. You can even contact CPOMS via us if you want to on our website. So you can be super snazzy and click on the find out more button. And we will contact CPOMS on your behalf. So that's nice, isn't it? So
the thing is, there's a bunch of people on the call probably who are often in even product silos in their organization. The DSL safeguarding team maybe look after student safe. There's maybe, if they are staff safe customers, there's a HR team looking after that maybe. The site team manage the visitor system on the site. That could be something entirely different. It could be the reception team and the administration team that look after the visitors. And then they could have an entire different set of data people looking after the data coming out of all these systems. So it's not until you give us a platform like this to talk through the whole sweep of the system that you can see that actually none of those silos need to exist if you don't want them to. If you can, I know it can be a procurement exercise for people, and I know it's tough sometimes, but 9 times out of 10 it's more efficient to do things with the same provider and often cheaper. And there could be ways of saving money, saving time and saving energy here for a lot of people who maybe are working with different systems just simply because their organizational structure has siloed them and they've not thought about the fact that they could be joined up. So if just a few people on this call start questioning some of those systems, then I'd be happy that my job's done for today, and I'll come back another day and sell my wares another time.
Thanks, Sam. And for those of you who want to watch this session again, we're going to upload the recording into our community on-demand library. So if you've got a colleague who missed out, don't worry, the recording will be there, and we're going to leave it there all year so you can tap into it anytime. And I'm sure Sam, you will be back if there's any updates in the CPOMS world. Yeah, we like to bring Sam back in. And again, if you've got any questions, anybody at any point, please do not hesitate to get in touch. You can direct message me in the community with a little message icon, or you can drop me an email, info@headteacherchat.com. How can they get a hold of you, Sam, if they need to?
If they go through the phone line, or they can email sam.eustace@cpoms.co.uk. If you want to get in contact about anything, I'll try and help out. If I can't help out, I may have to pass you on to someone else, but they're all equally as nice, so it's fine.
So here we go. Here's your email address for those of you who would like to just jot that down. So sam.eustace@cpoms.co.uk. Thank you so much, Sam, for joining us today.
No,
it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. We're very grateful for your time and hope you have a good day.
thank you very much. Take care, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thanks.